The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Elena Russ. Firefighters' quick actions saved the life of a man's beloved pet after a fire broke out at an East Bakersfield apartment.
I got two animals, two dogs in here.
That man alerting firefighters his two dogs were trapped inside one of the units at East 6th and Wallace Streets, just off Highway 58 and Union Avenue. The fire started around 4:15 yesterday afternoon, and minutes later, a firefighter seen carrying the lifeless pup out. He immediately gives it oxygen and brings it back to life. Neighbors tell 17 News, however, another dog did die in the fire. Bakersfield Fire Department says 3 people were treated for smoke inhalation. No one else was hurt. However, 13 people were displaced from their homes. No word yet on the cause of this fire.
That's hard to watch. All right, now news around the state. California Governor Gavin Newsom signing a number of bills into law that come into effect at the start of the new year. In 2023, changes are coming to laws governing traffic, official holidays, the workplace, and more. We want to take a look at a few of these, including this one, which is strange to us here in Kern County. Jaywalking will become legal January 1st. The law had required pedestrians to stay in crosswalks and intersections. Now, people will not be ticketed unless, quote, a reasonably careful person would realize there is an immediate danger of collision with a moving vehicle. Also, previously, California law required vehicles to maintain 3 feet distance when passing bicycles headed in the same direction. A new law will now require vehicles to move into another lane if it's safe to do so and it's not prohibited by law. And there will be a new feather alert system. It will be similar to Amber Alerts, but this one is for Indigenous people who have gone missing, quote, under unexplained or suspicious circumstances. Like an Amber Alert, a Feather Alert will operate through the CHP.
5:04 is your time now from our 17 News follow-up file. The oil rig worker caught in a devastating explosion that left him with severe injuries appeared digitally in court yesterday. Leo Andrade was on parole at the time of the accident, but his lawyer and family want parole ended early now that Andrade cannot walk. Leo Andrade is still lying in a hospital bed in Kern Medical after that explosion almost 2 weeks ago. Outside the room, a pair of armed correctional officers watching him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. About 10 years ago, Leo Andrade was convicted of robbery. He served his prison time and has been on parole ever since. His lawyer, David Torres, says Andrade should have parole ended now and that he's clearly not a danger since he can't walk. The judge ruled the court would reconvene on January 17th. In the meantime, Andrade will be required to have a tracking bracelet, but the guards will be removed and Andrade's wife and rest of his family will be allowed to visit.
It's just like a weight off of all of our shoulders. It was tough losing, like the contact with him, like having to follow protocol of CDCR. But now it's just another right foot forward.
Andrade has less than 3 months of his parole left to serve. His wife Danielle says that he is slowly recovering. The Bakersfield Police Department will be holding a DUI checkpoint tomorrow night. It's happening in an unincorporated area in Bakersfield between 7 p.m. and 2 a.m. The BPD says nearly 3,000 people were killed in alcohol-involved crashes across California during the past 3 years. Research shows that crashes involving an impaired driver can be reduced by up to 20% when well-publicized DUI checkpoints are held consistently.
A Bakersfield family asking for help finding a teen they haven't heard from in nearly 3 weeks. 18-year-old Nathan Avila was reported missing back on November 26th. According to his family, Avila was last seen on East 21st Street in the Old Town Kern area. Family tells 17 News his phone was left at home and they haven't been able to get a hold of him. Nathan Avila is 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing about 190 pounds. Last seen wearing a purple Champion sweater and black and white colored Vans. Anyone who's seen him or knows where he is, please call the BPD at 327-7111.
5:13 now. The Bakersfield Police Department has named its officer, detective, dispatcher, and civilian employees of the year. The 4 were honored at an awards ceremony yesterday. Civilian Employee of the Year, Maria Fernandez. Dispatcher of the Year, Stacy Reed. Officer of the Year, Richard Robles. And Detective of the Year, Frank McIntyre. Chief Greg Terry says all 4 have done exemplary work in their respective departments.
All right, education news now. The library, a great resource, of course, to find your next read, but several local libraries also going a step further and feeding a big need among local children. 17's Michaela Armstrong takes us there.
Justin Patterson comes to the Beale Memorial Library in downtown Bakersfield after school to get food for his siblings with the help of the after-school program Snacks in the Stacks.
We spend most of our time here because my mom is at work a lot of times. That saves her money on groceries. That also helps her to not have to cook after she just got home from work.
He is one of many children who stand in line during the week looking forward to what is on the menu for the day. Snacks in the Stacks is a free meal service offered by the Kern County Library that provides meals, a place to read and play, and a space to do homework with a tutor after school. Some might be embarrassed to seek programs like this, but Patterson says it helps his family.
My mom helped me to see that if you need help, just accept it. To all those who feel embarrassed, it's not really, you shouldn't be embarrassed. You should hold your head up high. It shows that you're strong enough to take pride in the fact that you need help.
The program initially began at only 5 library locations around the county, but its success led the county to extend to 5 more locations in the greater Bakersfield area this month.
Kids don't get, meals sometimes, and this is the perfect place because they don't have to think twice about it. It's not somewhere to be embarrassed. All the kids in here, they're all doing something fun and exciting at the library, whether it be reading, playing board games, doing any other kind of programs, and eating.
Michaela Armstrong, 17 News.
All right, the program recently expanded from 5 to 10 locations. Snacks in the Stacks open to kids between the ages of 2 to 18, weekdays from 3 to 5. Just show up, and early is better. For more information, go to our website, kget.com. Now to an update on a story we first brought you as breaking news yesterday on Sunrise. A teenager in critical condition after being hit by a car in northwest Bakersfield. It happened about 6:10 a.m. yesterday at the intersection of Allen and Brimhall Roads when Bakersfield police say a teenage girl was crossing the road against a red light when she was hit by a car that investigators say had the green light. She was taken to the hospital with major injuries. Police say the driver stayed on the scene and is cooperating with this investigation.
National news this morning, the Federal Reserve did it again. The central bank lifted interest rates Wednesday in another effort to put the brakes on inflation.
NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest on how the move impacts you, as well as progress on the Capitol to avert a government shutdown.
And that we are strongly committed.
The Federal Reserve trying to knock out inflation one last time before year end, raising its key interest rate 0.5 percentage point, the 7th hike this year, and a more modest hike than the last several, but indicating more are coming.
We still have some ways to go.
Even though there's been 2 better than expected inflation reports, the Fed still feels like it has a lot more work to do.
Inflation is slowing, evident in lower gas prices.
We're heading in the right direction.
It's a big relief, when it comes to like previous month, it's so painful in the pocket.
But for many, prices remain painfully high. Americans shelling out more to take out loans and pay down credit cards now face a tougher job market.
There will be some softening in labor market conditions, and I wish there were a completely painless way to restore price stability. There isn't, and this is the best we can do.
The yeas are 224.
On Capitol Hill, a more festive mood. House lawmakers reaching a late-night deal temporarily funding the government, a bill now heading to the Senate.
We still have a long way to go.
If a truly bipartisan full-year bill without poison pills is ready for final Senate passage by late next week, then I'll support it.
The bill could buy much-needed time to work out a larger spending package covering most of next year.
The new deadline to avert a government shutdown 2 days before Christmas. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, NBC News.
All right, California's Reparations Task Force began a 2-day meeting to discuss eligibility requirements and what form the payments might take. The panel recently voting to limit reparations to just California's Black residents whose ancestors were living in the U.S. during the 19th century. Now they'll be talking about additional eligibility requirements, including what time frame of that era reparations could be limited to. The task force, the first of its kind in the nation, has a July 1st deadline for presenting the state legislature with its recommendations.
Well, if you're in need of a sweet treat to start your Thursday, you're in luck. It's time for the 9th annual Holiday Cinnamon Roll Sale, benefiting the Volunteer Center of Kern County. It doesn't kick off until 7 a.m., but if history teaches us anything, it's that those cinnamon rolls go fast. It begins again at 7 and runs until 2 p.m. or they run out. You can stop by 1311 I Street off California Avenue between 8th Street and Chester Avenue and grab a dozen.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.